Hello everyone, welcome back to the stream. Sorry for no stream yesterday, but it was the United States' 250th birthday yesterday, so of course had to hang out with family and everything, but yeah, we're just going to be doing more content today, and we're going to be just trying to, like, again, this month is just going to be dumping a bunch of content into the game, basically, which is a little bit challenging because I still want to make sure that every ability that's being added to the game is something that's not quite like any other ability. I still think there's plenty of room, but sometimes it takes a little bit of effort to think of some cool abilities. So yeah, anyway, before I get into that, I want to remind everyone that Alchemortis is available for wishlisting. So if you are interested in the game, wishlisting is the best way to support me at the moment, but you can also support by joining the Patreon. You could join at either tier, but the top tier here, if you subscribe for at least 1 month, you'll get an Alchemortis Steam key for the full game when it launches, so you will not need to purchase it on Steam. And your name will be listed in the in-game Alchemortis credits as a thank you for helping to fund the development. So if that's interesting to you, definitely check those out. You can also purchase one of my Udemy courses. I've got a number of them. That would be very much appreciated. You can also become a YouTube member. YouTube members and Patreon members will get exclusive video content as well as early access to new videos. So I gotta make some more videos here, but yeah, I think that's about it. So what I'm working on right now is I'm working on this pumpkin golem. This pumpkin golem is going to do something. I don't know what the abilities are going to be yet, but you can tell I'm not quite done with the art here yet. So we're going to finish up this art, and then we will go ahead and think of some abilities for this dude. Maybe this could be another card that creates like little pumpkinlings or something like that. I don't know, pumplings? Pumplings? I don't know if that sounds right, but hey, we can make him create some little pumplings, I guess. Or, I mean, I don't know. We could think of some creative things to do with this. Maybe he creates like a pumpkin seed item or something, and we could do something with the pumpkin seed. Be kind of interesting if like he created pumpkin seed items, and then once you got, you know, a certain amount of those pumpkin seeds, it grew into like an artifact or something. That would be kind of cool. Yeah, that would be really interesting actually. But I don't know. We don't need to go super wild with every single card, but I think it's gonna be cool. Anyway, let's say hello to everyone. Hello. I still don't know how to say your name, but welcome. Hello, Abungos. Welcome back. Good to see you. I didn't get to play the latest playtest that much, but I remember wishing there was a bigger variety of basic cards. Felt like most cards were MTG, uncommon, or rare cards rather than common cards. Yeah, that's a good point. I think I can, you know, fill out more of like just the basic heal and damage and stuff for sure. Yeah, I can definitely do that. I mean, those are the easiest ones to make because I can just draw the art and then slap a bunch of the pre-made abilities, right? Like I have this ability builder class. This is a bunch of static methods that just creates the very basic abilities. So if I want poison, I just do ability builder.poison. I put how much I want, and boom, there's my poison ability, right? Same with like fire. So I've got just like really easy ways to create all the base abilities in here. So yeah, it's definitely, those are definitely the easiest kinds of cards to make, because basically the entire effort is just the art, and then I just slap 2 or 3 of these on that item, and then it's like, it's done, right? In their complexity, yeah. Hello, Emerson. Pumpkin golem, make his eyes red. No, I'm not gonna do that. Seedlings sounds more appropriate, but I love that you said pumplings, yeah. Hello, Monkey Software. Kind of needs to be called pumplings now, yeah. Or maybe we'll just make it so that 4 pumpkin seeds transforms into a pumpling or something like that. So we can make him a ward Yeah, we can make him award pumpkin seeds, or maybe we'll do something interesting like it adds pumpkin seeds to booster packs, and when you collect like 4 pumpkin seeds or whatever, or 3 pumpkin seeds, or maybe it's just every pumpkins, like maybe every, so the boosters drop a pumpkin seed, and then you use that in alchemy to create a pumpling. Oh, pumpling, that's kind of funny. The agriculture update, yeah, it's, I don't know about, I don't know if this is the kind of agriculture you're going to want to be doing, but that's all right. So we just got to shade up these vine tentacles here. So we just want to shade these. And I also was thinking if I could add like thorns to this, but I don't know if that's going to be possible necessarily, because there's already not a whole lot of room. You know, one of the things about pixel art is you want to resist the urge to add too much detail, because then it just makes the art not readable. So that's always a concern. Okay, that's probably fine. This shading might be a little bit too aggressive here. Let's see, do that. That'll work. Well, okay, we'll just deal with that for a second. Yeah, I think it's going to look all right with the shading. I don't know. We'll have to see. But yeah, we're just grinding away at some content. I posted the succubus in the Discord. That one was fun to work on. That one was one of those moments where it was like stretching my skill. So it actually felt really good to work on, because I felt like I learned a lot from it, from struggling to make it look good. So those kinds of detailed pieces are a lot of effort, but at the same time, I think it's good for me to do some of those on occasion, because yeah, it gives me an opportunity to stretch my skill level, which is really the only way you can learn, right? Like if you're just doing things that you kind of already know how to do, and you're never pushing yourself, you're never going to get the experience you need, right? So this guy is a wiggly boy. A wiggly boy indeed. That's probably all right. I do need to finish shading this part. I don't know why I stopped midway through. This one looks a little weird. Maybe... That's probably okay. Maybe I'll move this. What do I want to do here? Trying really hard to avoid pillow shading, because that just makes the art look kind of bland. And we don't want the art to look bland. No, sir. Does that look better? Whatever, we'll just keep it the way it was. Okay. I don't know about this one. Let's see. Okay, this is probably going to work better. Maybe. Oh, there we go. Okay. Hello, GD Crazy. Welcome. What software to use to make pixel art? Is it free? It's Aseprite. It's Aseprite, and it is free if you compile it yourself. If you don't compile it yourself, you have to buy it. You know, I don't know. It's one of those things where, like, it's only like $15 or $20 on Steam. So if you have the money, I think it's well worth it. But if you want to compile it yourself, you know, compiling anything from source can be a little bit tricky. But honestly, if I were to compile it from source or try to compile it from source, I'd probably just have like an AI walk me through the process. Probably be able to get it done pretty quick if you're using like Claude Opus or something. Maybe you wouldn't even need that. Maybe you just need like Sonnet or something, but that's probably what I would do if I was strapped for cash and I knew that I could build a sprite from source. I'd probably just have the AI tell me how to do it. This one looks a little weird. Let's see. Okay, maybe this will work better. I don't know. We'll see how this goes. Oh, thunder. We got some thunder. Hope my internet doesn't go out. That would suck. Okay, that probably is okay. I don't know. That's not the best thing in the world, but honestly, maybe I'll just... Yeah, maybe we'll just do that. I'm doing well, Nukita. How are you doing? And thank you. Appreciate that. Welcome to the stream. Your pixel art makes these 2D look a little bit of 3D. Thank you. Yeah, that's the point, right? That's the point of shading, is to take something that's flat and make it look like it, you know, has some dimensionality to it. Okay, now we got to do the stem here. So let's see. Actually, I kind of like that. Okay. There we go. Do that. I don't think it's quite dark enough here. I may have to... I think maybe it needs to be just darker generally. Okay. That's probably all right. Yeah. Okay, well, I wouldn't say this is the best thing in the world, but I think it's fine. I was really struggling with getting like pumpkin ridges into this, like to give it this shape. So I tried to imply that there's some like curvature to it with just some of these darker lines here, but I don't know if I did a super good job. But it's one of those situations where I can't just like draw a line through. Actually, that doesn't look terrible. Am I gonna prove myself wrong right here? Oh. Okay. I was trying and struggling with this before, but actually that doesn't look terrible. If I just... Let's see. I'll just keep that. That seems to have added quite a bit, actually. Yeah. I think that helps. Okay. Let's just clean it up a little bit. This is the part where I ruin what I just did. Yeah, we'll just keep it the way it was. Oops. No, go back. Okay. Anyway, there we go. We've got our pumpkin golem. We could stop here. Does lighting flawlessly, thank you. It's a ridiculously spooky golem. Hello, Clickertail, welcome. Looks cool to you? All right, good. Good, good, good. So now we have the hard part, which is to add abilities. Let me just fill in some of these spots. Okay. There's our pumpkin golem. Export that. And now we got to create some abilities for him. So do we want to do that pumpkin seed idea? I have an idea. Let's do the pumpkin seed really quick. Card creation tool, 1 by 1. Pumpkin seed. Create that. Okay. New. How do I do this? Load default palette. I wish there was a way to configure A-Sprite to load the default palette by default. That would be very nice, because I'm tired of having to click it every time. Oops. I need to create a layer. That is not quite a pumpkin seed. That is not quite a pumpkin seed either. That is also not a pumpkin seed. Neither is that. Okay. That probably is okay. Let's just manually touch it up a little bit. The heck? Now it doesn't look right. I'm probably just collapsing basically to where I just was. All right, that's okay. Because if I make it too long, it's just not going to look right. So we'll just do this. That doesn't look right either. One second. Let me look at what a pumpkin seed actually looks like. Yeah, I'm kind of onto the shape. I guess they are a little bit more elliptical. So let's do... I don't know, I don't need to spend this much time on a G-dang pumpkin seed, but... Oops. Whatever. That'll probably work. That will probably work. Okay. Oh man. I am going to have a pretty hard time with this, I think. Well, my laptop crashed a minute ago, now I'm back. I don't know what I did with it, but I did something good, that's good. Are you using a fixed palette or just main colors from palette and then change them a bit for shading? No, I'm just using the 8 colors. Just the 8 colors and the 8 colors only. Welcome back to the stream, Macy, by the way. Hello, Vanek. Welcome. Good to see you. Hello, Evan. I randomly watched a vid about making a deck building game in a game jam and got inspired. That's awesome. And I tried to follow that deck builder tutorial again because I'm afraid of failures. Pumpkin seed looks like a seed. Yeah, failure can be a good thing. Sometimes it's hard to see in the moment that a failure can be a good thing, but it definitely can be. Oops. I really don't know how I'm going to shade this. I'm just doodling. I have no idea how I'm going to shade this. Like, how do I make it look like an actual pumpkin seed? That doesn't look right either. They've got like little ridges in them, which is what I was trying to do. Nope, that's not gonna work. What in the heck, man? I'm gonna be stumped by a pumpkin seed. Of all the art in the game, this is gonna be the one that stumps me. Did I get it? Maybe that's enough, I don't know. That's probably okay, I have no idea. Failure hurts in the moment, but when you learn from it, can make the next iteration much better. Pumpkin seeds have a little bevel edge. Yeah. Yeah. Increase the size. I don't have enough room to increase the size. Certainly needs to be a 2x3 card. Drop shading with 2 lighter colors and kind of outline the third darker color. I don't think that's going to work because it's going to look too thick. Pumpkin seeds are green, right? No. Not necessarily. See, I don't have the room. Like if I make it bigger, it's gonna be hard to like get the shape down. See, I don't have like room over here to add like extra there. All right, I'm just gonna call what I have good. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The other problem is like my lightest color is the white, but then the next colors are like, maybe I could use these instead. Actually, that might look better. Looks a little bit less contrasty. I might just get rid of this too. Maybe if I do... Maybe the green shading is better. I think that works fine. I think that works okay. Reads as a pumpkin seed to me. We'll see as more seeds are added. What if there's just a seed sprite with a small icon of a pumpkin next to it? I think the pumpkin would be harder to draw at this scale than the seed. But why is it looking like a creepy smile? I don't know. Guess because I didn't do it that well. Happy affiliate anniversary. Thank you. Thank you, Real Cruda. Looks like an egg, so we'll give it a point. Maybe that will help. We'll give it a point, and maybe that will help. Okay. Yeah, I just don't have a whole lot of options here. Even changing one pixel here just throws off the proportions entirely. All right, whatever. It's fine. We'll just roll with this. Oh. I'm having a font midlife crisis right now. Pumpkin seeds are more teardrop shaped. 3-hour seed stream. Okay, anyway, pumpkin seed. So we got to do a couple of things. This needs to be excluded from the loot table. We're also going to make it a reagent. We'll worry about those things later. Pumpkin Golem is 2x2. Turn cooldown 43. Let's see. This legendary is flippable. Oh, I think I forgot to do something here. It's flippable on. Okay. Cool. We'll call it Pumpkin Golem Seed. Make that a reagent. Okay, so the Pumpkin Golem is alchemical, minion, alchemical minion. All right. Here we go. Pumpkin Golem. Trying to think of how I want to do this. Do I want to go through the effort of making this drop? Do I want to go through the effort of making this drop? Oh, you know what I could do? I could make the golem itself a reagent. And when you use it in alchemy, it creates a pumpkin seed output as a reagent. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. I actually don't know how to do that though. Because I think the problem is that reagents are marked as automatically consume in the alchemy manager. Alchemy input config. Oh yeah, the problem. If I tag the pumpkin golem as a reagent, it's going to be consumed in alchemy. But I think I can still add alchemy abilities to the golem without marking it as a reagent necessarily. Trying to think of how I want to do this. So gold is alchemy transmute input. So let's copy this one. We're going to create a new alchemy add output. So new file alchemy add output. Okay. Is copyable false? Is reagent ability true? We don't need this. We do need output card ID. Creates a creates the following item 0. The tricky part about this is I got to worry about translations. So it creates the following item 0 description template parameters. This would be card resource dot localized name. Localized name is, yeah, okay. This would be ability alchemy add output. Okay. I need to store the string output card ID, output card ID, output card ID. Okay. We don't need the query target provider, so that goes away. That goes away there. New card is card factory, create card from ID, output card ID, set to your capped. I actually don't know if this is going to work. Context.reagent card. This is probably not going to work. I'm going to have to figure out how to finagle this. Okay. I don't think this is going to work. Alchemy add output dot set is innate as true. All right, this is probably not going to work, so I'm going to have to figure that out. Okay. Looks like ice green now. Hello, Budget Jim. I feel like the green makes it look like grass crystal. Well, we're done with the seed, so... We're done with the seed. If you can't solve a bug, make it a feature. Hello, Mikola. Hope I said your name correctly. Someone know how to make a signal bus in C#? I mean, it's very simple. I have this. It's just the game events. It's an auto load. It has all these signals in here, and then it has static methods to emit all those signals. That's it. Then you just connect to these signals on the auto load node. That is all you have to do. Oh, I forgot to build the translations. That's all right. Not enough blood. Yeah, it didn't work. Okay. It did not work. Also, it's not being marked as innate either. But we gotta solve one problem at a time. Hello, Do Init Blind. Welcome. Good to see you. Welcome to the stream. So now I gotta go to my alchemy input config and I gotta see. Let's look for alchemy reagent effect. Reagent effects register reagent context. Reagent to reagent context. Get context for reagent. What is this doing? Oh, it's doing callbacks. Oh, I see. Callback context. Get post output callback. Is there a register post output callback? Yeah. Forgot what this is being used for. Swarm. Contribute effect. It's registering a callback. Oh, I see. So that callback is specifically for adding swarm to things. So I think I'm worried that this is going to break something, but I think what I can do. This is looping over the reagent input cards. Oh, collect reagent stats. Son of a biscuit. Collect reagent stats. Reagent input cards, non-reagent input cards. Do I need all this stuff? So reagents, if a card is tagged as a reagent, it ignores all the reagent abilities when it's doing the pool. The only problem is, this is assuming that alchemy abilities can only exist on reagents, but I don't think that's not the case anymore. So I think what I can do actually is I could do input, let's just do all input cards. If not input card dot get base composed abilities dot any. Actually, we could do dot of type I alchemy reagent effect dot any. We'll just return, or not return, continue. So we're just going to skip over any input card that does not have an alchemy ability. Okay. Is that it? Is that all I need to do? Non-reagent input cards. How many times is this used? Legendary assignment array. Okay. Okay, let's see if that works. It did not work. Did I forget to change this to... Oh, I forgot to change this to all input cards. Right. Do you know how to create Windows applications? Not off the top of my head, no, but I could probably do it. I mean, there's all kinds of ways to create... I'm assuming you mean with, like, the official, like, Windows SDK or SDKs, plural. Set tier of reagent, this needs to be fixed. What? What are you talking about? Oh. Have a great stream and stay healthy. Thank you, Amungos. Appreciate it. And have a good day. What happened to my wrist? Nothing. This is just preemptive protection. I have had problems in the past of, like, you know, just doing too much on the computer. So just having the extra support basically eliminates any, like, RSI issues whatsoever, which is good. Hey, look at that. We got our pumpkin seed, pumpkin golem seed. Wow. We did it. Now, the question, though, is did I break any other reagents? Add item flint. Let's just do a very basic flint check. Okay, that did not break. This should, in theory, work. Because, like, during that collection phase of abilities in this alchemy input config, like, I don't need to just iterate over reagents here. Like, what I'm interested in this block specifically is processing all of the alchemy abilities, right? So if an alchemy ability exists on a non-reagent item, that's fine, right? But reagents are special in certain ways. The main way that they're special is that they get consumed by alchemy. So anything that's a reagent will just be deleted basically when you use it in alchemy. It will apply its effects and then it will be consumed. But in the case of the pumpkin golem, we want it to have an ability that can have an effect on alchemy, but we don't want it to be consumed because it's an item that you actually want to play in the game. So I think this change is safe because all I'm doing is, instead of just narrowing down this list to only the reagent items, I'm just saying, look at all of the input items and only process the item if it has at least one I alchemy reagent effect, right? And then down here, it's just iterating over those and calling contribute effect to that. So I think that makes sense. I think that's fine. One weird edge case pops up and you end up digging through more than you intend. Yeah, that's just how it goes. Is there any reason why I chose C# over GDScript? I think it's just easier to do what I'm trying to do in C#, that's all. That's all. Would you like to be a savior for gaming community? I don't know, probably not. I've had carpal tunnel syndrome twice, not fun. Did go away on its own both times, but yeah. I think the treatment is usually just like try to stop moving your wrist. So if you can like the wrist brace, it just immobilizes my wrist and it also compresses the tendon, and that just adds extra support so the tendon is not like doing a ton of work and like twanging around and stuff, you know. Not really sure if the .NET SDK is the only solution, but our community needs a powerful library manager. I have much of the blueprint laid out, but I have no idea what I'm looking at when it comes to code. A library manager. There is such an app. I mean, I don't want to discourage you, but this app, Asset Hoard, is an app that's designed for managing your libraries of assets. And I've been using it for quite a while now, a couple months. I've got 170,000 sound effects in here. That's the only assets I really care about putting into a library. But yeah, I don't know if this is what you're talking about, but this app is really good. But, you know, again, not to discourage you, but that app works really well for managing assets. Your art and game look absolutely stunning. Just added to my wish list right away. Rooting for you. Thank you. I appreciate that, Sam Petit. Any chance you'd want to drop a demo on our platform? That is not up to me. That is up to my publisher. I mean, I guess I shouldn't say that. Of course, I have a say in all those things, but yeah, I don't know if you wanna. You could send me an email. admin@firebelly.com. It's on, you could go to firebelly.com. I think my email is there, or it's also listed in the YouTube channel. So if you want to send me an email, what your platform is, I'd be happy to take a look, but I can't make any promises. But thank you for the wish list. Not sure if it's capable of being used for the beginner. Maybe not. Maybe not. We're supporting using a pad instead of a mouse is the basic treatment here. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I don't know. I'm too comfortable with my mouse. I've settled on like a mouse shape that I really like, which is this big, bulky kind of mouse with, you know, the little thumb rest in there and the side scroll button. This is basically the layout of the Logitech MX Master mouse, but this one is the Keychron version of that, which is actually, in my opinion, the Keychron one is a lot better because not only is it cheaper than the Logitech one, but it has a higher polling rate and it's lighter as well. But it's the same basic shape. And also it has silent clicks, which feel really nice. Anyway, I'm not paid by Keychron. I think Keychron should sponsor me because I'm like a Keychron fanboy now, but that's okay. Whatever, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. All right, so we need to actually make the pumpkin seed do something now. What I want to do is create a pumpling. Okay. Let me think about this. Yeah, we're gonna have to figure out what to do about that. Thank you. I'll definitely play it as soon as it's released. Appreciate it. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Okay, work. Work on pumpkin golem. pumpkin seed. So we still have one more item to create, which is the pumpling, but we'll worry about that in a second. What is your thought process behind case naming files, variables, functions? I'm learning GDScript and a little bit of C#, and I'm a bit focused about case naming conventions. I mean, conventions are just conventions. You can basically use whatever you want. I think the main thing is you should be consistent. Like, you don't want to mix your casings up. So I follow like the C# conventions, which are like to Pascal case, method names and class names, and then to camel case, like your variables and whatnot. GDScript has its own like recommended style guide, which I think is in the docs, but it's basically like snake case everything and put 2 new lines between methods and so on and so forth. And then for nodes, again, I don't think the node naming is that important, like in terms of what case you use. I think the most important thing is that you're consistent. But I use Pascal case for my node names. I think that's what Godot is default configured as to use Pascal case. So yeah, I mean, it's like whatever you're comfortable with is what you should use. The main thing is to be consistent. You don't want to be mixing a bunch of different casings and whatnot. Like, the whole goal of having like a convention is to basically reduce the mental overhead of reading and understanding the code. Because like casings, like the casings that you're using do encode certain information, right? So in a case of C#, I know that a Pascal case name is going to be either a class name or a method name, right? I guess it could be a couple of other things like a property name or whatever, but there's a limited set of things that a Pascal case name could represent, right? Whereas a camel case name is going to represent some kind of variable in most situations, right? And so, but if you're mixing those things around, if you've got some variables that are Pascal case and you've got some classes that are camel case, it's like that adds a little bit of mental overhead, because then it's like you can't really tell just by reading it what category, what class of thing the name is. So yeah, I think that's how I think about it. Okay, so we want to make the pumpling work, or the pumpkin seed. So we're going to need another alchemy. Actually, do we need another alchemy ability? We might be able to use the alchemy output, alchemy add output here. We probably want to do some kind of filter though. Yeah, so maybe what I'll do... Oh, this needs to take alchemy reagent context. If filter dot invoke context is equal to false, return. Okay, and then we also need to store that filter. So this dot filter is equal to filter, and then we can pass this along in here. Okay. So filter could be null. So if we do a nullable invocation, there's only 2 values that would be returned from that, where we would want to proceed with this, and that is null or true, right? So that means that if this equals false, that essentially means that the filter was not null and it evaluated to false, and so we return, right? But if the filter is null, or if the filter returns true, then we want to continue on, right? So a null filter is basically assume there's no filter. And if there is a filter, we only want to proceed if it's true, right? So that's why this form looks a little weird, but that's because this value could be null, true, or false. And there are two values that we want to consider passing, and one value which we want to consider not passing, right? Okay. So yeah, so with the pumpkin seed here, we're gonna do var new. Let's actually do alchemy add output is equal to new alchemy add output. For now, we'll just put in a random skeleton warrior. We're gonna have to add the new item for that, but the filter here is going to be context. We're gonna say context. We're gonna return context.count or dot non-reagent input cards dot count x dot has tag card tag dot minion. Do I have something that projects the minion tag? I'm wondering if I put something that projects the minion tag into the alchemy, if this is gonna work. I don't know. Anyway, let's do greater than or equal to const int. Actually, yeah, whatever. It's it doesn't matter. Let's just do, well, const int minion target count is equal to 3. Okay, so there's our filter. We don't need this. Now the tricky part is I need to add this to the description. I need to be able to change these things dynamically. Hello, Kipata Sensei, welcome. Hello, Junie, welcome back. Welcome to both of you. Probably still tutorial hell because looking for tutorials advice, not how to, but when and where to is a pain. Yeah, that is true. That is true. I don't think there's a whole lot of content like that because that kind of thing is hard to teach, right? That's more something that will come with experience. But yeah. I don't know what to do about this. I need different translations in here. Okay, let's see. What are we going to do? I mean, I guess I would just have to... Yeah, this is going to be not so fun to do. Because I don't know, I really don't want to do this. I really don't want to do this, but I don't think there's a way for me to do it any other way. So in here, what I have to do is I have to do alchemy at output dot set description template. Creates the following item. Keywords.minion.minions. This would be one. This would be ability, pumpkin seed, add output. And then the description template parameters func will be minion target count and let's do privates. Private static read-only card definition resource added item. Let's go to card registry.fromID, card ID.skeleton warrior. Private const string added item. Okay, we'll put the added item ID in here. Okay. And then we do added item dot localized name. I don't know if that's going to work. But let's see. Will there be another playtest? I low-key want to try this. Yes, probably. There will either be another playtest or a demo. One of those two things. But you will be able to play it. You'll be able to try it before you buy it. Let's see if this works. That seems to work. So do I have anything that projects the minion tag onto anything? Wait a minute, what happened to my... Wait a minute. I don't think my filters are working. Passive projects the ritual tag. Yeah, I don't think my filters are working. I thought I had something that projects the minion tag onto things. Oh yeah, the cultist. Right, okay. I wonder if this will fit. It's not going to fit. Okay. Oh, it doesn't. This doesn't actually even help because two allied items above. Gotcha. Okay. So let's just do the pumpkin first to get the seed. Pumpkin golem seed. Okay. Creates the following item if there are 3 or more minions used in the alchemy. Skeleton warrior. Okay. So now if I do this, does this actually work? So that's 1 minion, 2 minion, 3 minion. Oh my gosh, it works. That's pretty cool. I was worried that that projection state was going to be disrupted, but apparently that's not the case. So I've got a skeleton warrior out. So the pumpkin seed is working. So we just need to create the pumpling now. Also, the pumpkin golem needs more abilities, and it needs to say innate there as well. I don't know why it's not saying innate. But anyway. Let me write all this stuff down too, so I don't forget. All right, so pumpkin golem. We need to do the abilities. Flavor text. Okay. Then we have item pumpkin golem seed. We need the flavor text for that. Okay, and then we have item pumpling. We need to do the art, the abilities, flavor text. Okay. All right. I'm going to take a quick 3-minute break, and when I come back, we will continue working on all this. So be right back. Is it too bright for you, buddy? What are you looking at? There's nothing out there. What are you looking at? Show everyone your face. Look in the camera. What are you doing? Look in the camera. Okay, he's not interested. He's not interested. What a handsome boy. He is handsome. That's the one thing that everyone has to say about him, that he's a good-looking cat. And it's true, he is a good-looking cat, aren't you, buddy? What are you looking at? There's nothing out there. Oh, squirm. Oh, no! Okay. Oh, man. Crazy animals. You want to come back up? Come on. Come here. Now he's playing hard to get. You know, cats, they will act like they don't want your attention. They'll play it off like they're cool and whatnot, but secretly what they desire is your attention. Anyway. Car! I love the drumstick front legs just sticking straight out. Yeah, sometimes, like if I pick him up from when he was sleeping and I just grab him, he'll just stretch his arms straight up in the air. It's pretty funny. He likes being manhandled, right, buddy? No, he's just circling. Anyway, let's get back to work and not focus on the animals. So we need to do the pumpling. The pumpkin golem also needs abilities, but I'm trying to decide, do I want to just draw the pumpling right now? Or do I want to work on the abilities? Let's work on the golem abilities. I'm not feeling like doing some art right at this moment. Okay. Oh, we need to make this work with innate. Right. So let me look at the base composed ability. I think I had made an assumption in here. Yeah, if is reagent ability, prefix parts add. So I don't think that's necessary, honestly. I think I could just Kerblamski this down here, and then I think that's it. So I have a couple of places in the code base where I assumed that alchemy abilities could only be on reagents, but that assumption is no longer correct because we have the pumpkin golem. And so there's just, I think that was probably the only two places in the code where I was making that assumption. Yeah, innate alchemy, there we go. Creates the following item. And this description here says that alchemy abilities only take effect when used in alchemy. Reagents always have alchemy abilities and are consumed during alchemy. So this calls out reagents specifically as being consumed, but anything can have an alchemy ability. So there we go. This opens up the design space quite a bit too, because now I can put alchemical abilities on items specifically to encourage you to do alchemy with specific items. So I think that would be really good. Now I need to figure out what abilities I want on this guy. We don't have a whole lot of armor abilities in the game. I don't know if it makes a whole lot of sense for the golem to apply armor, but maybe we just throw armor onto it. Ability builder dot armor, or it's called shield in the code, my bad. So we'll just throw a shield ability on. What else do we want to do? Maybe let's do this. I have an interesting idea. Var enemy cooldown increase is equal to new non-combat composed ability. We are going to do var turn cooldown. Let's just call it cooldown modification equal to new turn cooldown modification. We have the cached target provider, so we need query target provider is equal to query target provider dot create. Okay, let's do options. options.tag filter is equal to card tag.minion. Then we're going to do options.query directions is equal to query directions dot entire board. Options.query target board is equal to true. Options.query source board is equal to false. Okay, we passed the query target provider into there. The amount, we're going to do 5, or is that too much? No, that's probably fine. We also probably want to make that scale. So let's do constant turn base turn cooldown increase is 5. I don't know, I keep using the word turn cooldown. That's kind of like old language. I don't want to keep using that though. Okay, let's do ability configuration. This would be, oh, did I set the key? Oh, maybe I didn't set the key. Alchemy add output. Oh. Yeah, I forgot to do this. Alchemy add output. There we go. Okay, this would be increase enemy minion cooldown. Okay, so query target provider goes in there. Oh, this needs to be current cooldown increase. Is this a base magnitude ability? It is, okay. So then we do cooldown modification. Do we want to make this one innate as well? Maybe we will. Okay, increase query target provider dot to query string template 0 by description utils dot time format 1 seconds. Okay, this would be query target provider dot query options dot limit 0. This would be current cooldown increase. Okay, scaling function. Var scalar is equal to ability scalars dot make additive scalar 1. Current cooldown increase is equal to scalar base cooldown increase tier. And then we also need to do cooldown modification dot set scaled magnitude to current cooldown increase. Okay, and then this is ability pumpkin golem increase enemy minion. Let's just call it increase enemy cooldown. It's fine. Don't need to be that verbose. Okay, we put the enemy cooldown increase there. Let's throw a heal on it, 6 as well. Is that correct? Is that done now? We're gonna have to test it. Build. My cat is docile. He's like handling focaccia dough. Focaccia dough? I don't know what that is. For me, my dev process is function before form unless the form is important enough, crucial. Yeah, that makes sense. I do think that form is very, very important, but if you don't really know the approach that you're going to take at first, or your game systems haven't really clearly revealed the requirements yet, then focusing, like, architecture should be a bottom-up thing, in my opinion. It shouldn't be a top-down thing. Like, you shouldn't, if you're starting a project with the idea that I'm going to apply this architecture, that is generally a mistake to do unless you are really experienced and know, like, that you're going to need it for sure, right? But I think especially like beginners to intermediate programmers they're looking for ways to improve their programming skill, which is good. And then they read about programming patterns or architecture patterns, and then they start from that point and design that in a top-down way. But I think it's more valuable to build it in a bottom-up way. Like, do the easy thing first, get the thing implemented first, let that reveal the requirements that you have, and then you can make abstractions to support those requirements in the way that you need them to, right? I think that's generally a better way of building code than trying to design it top down from the beginning. So like with my ability system, when I first started it, it was very, very basic, right? I was like passing, references to things everywhere. And I was just like in a very like centralized way, just like calling the things that I need to do. But then as I needed to do more things, you introduce layers of abstraction to sit between, like for example, the turn orchestrator to like the ultimate effect that you need to happen. So in this game, I've got like 5 layers of abstraction between those 2 points. The turn orchestrator calls something like executabilities. And then there's all of these different abstractions that executabilities goes through until you ultimately end up with your application of damage or whatever, right? But that system wasn't designed like that from the beginning. It was, as I decided what I wanted to do with the game, that revealed the requirements, and then I was able to design systems to support those requirements, right? When more and more I'm seeing game dev, I've noticed how computer science have this field is. How compute science. I think I know what you're saying. Yeah, game development is like one of those things where, yeah, computer science, like theory and stuff, makes a big difference, right? Like, because like with the games, you're trying to do something in real time, right? And you're potentially trying to do a lot of optimizations or a lot of operations in real time. And like with typical software, it's very stateful, right? Like nothing happens until the user clicks a button. And if there's going to be a 1-second load time between clicking the button and doing the thing, because that happens infrequently, that's a little bit more tolerable, right? But with games, like you're dealing with at most like a 16 millisecond budget where all of your state needs to be updated every single frame within 16 milliseconds, right? And so there's a massive constraint there that makes it such that you need to think oftentimes more carefully about how you're doing things and what the optimal way to do things is. But then there's even like, algorithms, right? Like I've gotten a lot more exposure to lots of different algorithms doing game dev stuff than I ever did in the software world, because the software world is basically just about pushing data around, right? You collect data, user data on the front end, you got to shove it into your database somewhere, and then you might have like some architecture running on a cron job that like does something every so often with that data or whatever, right? But with games, it's like you might need an A-star pathfinding algorithm, right? And then if you're trying to support 1,000 entities, the A-star algorithm might not work, and then you might need to use flow fields or whatever. And like there's all these different concepts that you're gonna have to get exposed to do different things in game development. I think that's part of the reason why game development is so fun, because it's like, because you have these constraints, you have to think oftentimes at a deeper level, or you have to learn different algorithms to do what you're trying to do. So I definitely, yeah, I think that's what you're talking about, but. All right, GD Crazy, thanks for joining. Hello, Mel's, welcome back. Having knowledge in one field can help in the other. Also, first implementation of a slowing property. This is this is the first implementation I have of an ability that slows enemy cooldowns, but it's basically like I'm almost positive that this is just going to work because I'm not doing anything that's not supported by the system. But, I've been wrong before, so let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. You will take my abstract factory generator agentic XP loops from my dead hands. Okay. Innate passive, increase enemy min... Oh, that doesn't say cooldown. It just says increase enemy minion items, and it's wrong, too. Well, that's not even close. That's not even close to correct, but let's see if it does what I think it should do. 5.5 seconds, that seems right to me. Let's take a look at the training dummy. This should be 50. Yep. So this is actually working flawlessly. Okay, so we just need to clean up that description. Increase cooldown of by, this needs to be description utils dot magnitude to seconds. So that should fix that. And then we got to do the pumpling. Oops, I need to build the code first. Then I can build the translations. Any day now. Any day now. Unrelated question, did you ever check out that band we talked about? Oh, I don't remember, honestly, I'm sorry. Do you, can you mention it again? Sweet, I think that works. You know what I might do though, is I might reformulate this a little bit. I might have to make this a projection instead of just a straight. Because the problem is, like, it's hard to tell which items are being affected. So if I convert this to an ability that projects, so let's do var self turn cooldown modification is equal to new self turn cooldown modification. Base value is current cooldown increase var non-combat ability projector is equal to new non-combat ability projector, query target provider, base composed ability projected ability. What? Self turn cooldown modification, current cooldown increase, scaling funk. Tier. Okay. Wait a minute. Oh, this is not even close to correct. This needs to pass in a reference to self turn cooldown modification as well as tier. I need to actually get a reference to that ability. Int. Invoke self turn cooldown increase ability. Oh. Wait a minute. Okay. Okay. What did I break? What is going on even here? Okay. Tier. Okay. If scaling func is not equal to null, we're going to do scaling func self turn cooldown increase ability tier, and then we're going to return. Okay. That is proper now, because I need a reference to the cooldown increase ability here, cooldown increase ability there. Okay. Otherwise, I have no way of setting it based on the tier. Okay, and then this is query target provider self turn cooldown modification. Oh, this is not. Oh, wait. Yeah. This becomes keywords dot project. Oops. Dot project dot projects to that colon. This becomes just 1. And then this becomes inner ability description wrapper dot from self turn cooldown modification. Goodness gracious. And this is project increase enemy cooldown. Project. This scaling func goes away now. Well, I think I have to define it, so we'll just keep it empty, I suppose. Oh, wait. I think I need to do that, yeah. Okay, did I finally get it into the right situation? Goodness gracious. All right, let's try that. Nope, I have to fix this one now. I suppose I could just do discards here, right? Doesn't matter. Okay. Build the translations, run the game. You were talking about how much you like Metallica. Oh, it's Polyphia. Yeah, let me, I'm just gonna pull that up in a tab right now so I can look at it later. Yeah, I will check them out. So I've got it open in a browser tab, so I won't miss it now. I've been debating to switch to Godot, but hearing comparisons, trying all other two, can't convince myself to change for 3D games. Yeah, I mean, my impression of Godot, and this is coming from a Godot fanboy, is that there is a lot of 3D stuff that is like half-baked or not super good. Of course, there are a lot of 3D games that have been made successfully with Godot, but they're typically all following a certain like style, like kind of low res, low poly kind of style. There aren't a whole lot of 3D games with like super impressive 3D visuals or like graphical fidelity. I think Road to Vostok is the one that comes to mind, but even that is like, that just looks like DayZ from like 2011, right? So, and I'm sure I would be willing to bet a good sum of money that that developer had to do a bunch of like custom plugins or maybe even extending the engine source code to get what they want. So I think that's my impression. I don't work in 3D, so I'm not really an authority on like what the state of Godot 3D is, but that is my impression from just, you know, following Godot closely. For 2D games, I don't see why you would use any other engine other than Godot. I think Godot gives you absolutely everything you need to make sophisticated 2D games. But that's where my area of expertise is, I guess. Okay, so we got our pumpkin seed. Oh wait, that's not even what we're trying, but innate passive projects, dang it. Innate passive, this needs to be projects dot capitalized. Thank you very much. Anyway, let's try this. We got to create the pumpling next. Got to create the pumpling next. Projected passive, increase cooldown by 0.5 seconds. Look at that. So now we can see very clearly that this is having the ability affected, right? So let's just build again. Rebuild this. I'm very, very happy, I have to say, with my keyword changes. Like, I don't know. You guys tell me if this sounds good, but like whenever I need to put a keyword in a description, it's just keywords and then the keyword here, and then I have the variants as like sub or as properties on that base keyword. So if I need this to say like projects, right? Like it's an active verb, right? That just lives under the project keyword here. So we've got projects and projected, but it's got the base version. And then to do like capitalization or whatnot, I can just call like capitalized, or if I want icon only, whatever, right? So that seems very nice to me. It's a lot easier to create the descriptions now because they're all grouped under the same base object. And then it's also good for translations because the only thing that the translators need to keep intact is like this part of the string, right? But anything in the parentheses can be the localized text, right? So I've shown this before, but I think it's worth showing again. So if let's say I'm doing a translation and I just want to do, oh, well, this one becomes puppy dog, right? So puppy dog to enemy items. Now if I rebuild the translations, or I actually don't even need to rebuild the translations, but, oh, that would have undid my change. Son of a biscuit. What am I even doing? Puppy dog. Okay. So now if I run it, that maintains the fact that that is a project keyword, but it just uses that exact language that's in the parentheses, right? Puppy dog. So that allows me to retain the keyword highlighting, but translators can go in and change whatever's in the parentheses to the local language, right? So that means that they can move this section around, put this here, and then put whatever like language they need to put there. Like if it's Chinese or whatever, put the Chinese character or characters there, and then they can move this whole section around wherever it needs to be, and that preserves the keyword highlighting for it. And I think, and it's really easy for me as a developer to put those keywords in the string programmatically like I was doing here. So I don't know, I'm just very happy with how that system turned out. Hello, Dione, welcome back, good to see you. I'm doing well, how are you doing? Okay, all right, so I think the golem is basically done in terms of its abilities. So now we need to do the pumpling. Let's make it a 2x1. Okay. I did this on the wrong layer. Classic mistake. So these are basically just going to be mini pumpkin golems. We'll keep it like that, I suppose. Actually, whatever, we'll just make it work like this. It'll be an elongated pumpkin. That's fine. Is it fine? I think I'm thinking about it too much. Once I add shading and everything, it should be all right. Yeah, I think I'm thinking about it too much. I think the shape is going to work. Once it has shading, it'll be fine. Okay. I'm kind of tempted to make these ones look a little bit derpy, you know what I mean? Trying not to make it look too noisy, but I may have already failed at that. Okay. That's probably fine. I think to a certain extent I'm overthinking this. I think to a certain extent I am overthinking this. So I'm going to stop overthinking it and I'm just going to go ahead and do the other things that I need to do, which is like shading this. What am I doing? Okay. Maybe we'll go a little bit lighter on the shading for this one. I don't know if I actually need that. Maybe I just need to do... Yeah, something like that, I suppose. Wonder if I can do like another, just like another darker one back here. Make it look more tangly. Might be hard to do on this side because it's... Oh, that actually looks decent. Maybe I'll put something up here. I don't know if I like this part here. Let's just get rid of that. Yeah. So it'll kind of imply that there are other vine tentacle things coming out of it. I guess it's okay. I think it's okay. Why not? I'm okay with a lot of fear of future, but good. Okay. Well, that's life, I guess. I've been working on 3D tactics game for some time now. Biggest technical challenge has been getting infinite access utility AI working. Oh, what does that mean? Infinite access utility AI. Interesting. That sounds intriguing. Wonder if you have any experience with the kind of enemy NPC game AI, or really any kind of game AI, TBH. No, my game AI is very basic. I mean, Gunforged has the most complicated enemy AI of any game that I've published, I think. I mean, yeah, basically. And that's just state machines. It's not anything super impressive. There was one point, I don't remember what project it was for, but I was looking at like goal-oriented AI. I don't remember why I did that though. I don't remember why I did that. This pumpkin is banned in 70 countries. How do you check your game on interestingness and engagement? For my game, other roguelikes helps. I play them a lot. Then I try to steal the best parts to incorporate them into mine, keeping consistency. Yeah, I think that's part of it. The other part is doing play tests. Because really, the players are going to be the ones that tell you They're going to be ones that tell you if your game is fun or not, right? So I think playtests are really important for that. But yeah, that's the main way I've been doing it, is like playtest, keep the things that the players like, add more of the things that the players like, and fix all the things that the players don't like, right? Oh, hello, Chaco. Hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you. I appreciate that. Welcome to the stream. I hope you have a good day as well. It's great. I really like the dithering style you've been doing. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah, I'm finding that I've kind of settled into a way of shading things, which is good and bad in a couple of ways. It's good because it looks good, right? It's bad because there's a bunch of art in the game now that does not follow this shading pattern, and so it looks inconsistent. I think maybe the biggest offender is the dog, which doesn't, like, the dog doesn't look good at all anyway. Where is the dog? So, like, this dog looks terrible, but the other problem is, like, you can see that I'm not doing a lot of the proper shading, right? Actually, I wonder if we could just fix the dog right now. So I'm not doing a lot of the shading that I have been doing. Like, this is basically just two colors, right? So, but if I add, like, even without changing much of the style of the dog, if I just add, like, the kind of shading that I've been doing, I think you can see, like, it's immediately starting to look much better. So if I do this, that, you know, maybe for the dog, I would want, I actually don't know how I would imply fur, really. Maybe I'd do something like that. I might put, like, another foot down here. So this is one of the earlier sprites that I made for the game. So it's lacking a lot of the typical things that I do. So, like, I would probably do something like that, right? And maybe add an extra dark pixel there. And then this probably would thicken that up a little bit. And then so I could add some more darker pixels there. That probably doesn't work. We want to avoid pillow shading, right? Pillow shading is where you've got, like, a section like this where it's like two different shades, but they're following the same line. And that just makes it look weird. So trying to avoid doing pillow shading as much as possible. And a lot of times avoiding pillow shading is just a matter of, like, slightly breaking the line up, or, you know, just doing something like that. Actually, that looks fine. And then for the color here, you know, I'd probably do like a step up. So I'd use that dark color and then that color. That automatically makes the collar better. I might even try to do something like this. Maybe just extend the collar out. Well, I don't know about that one. The collar probably looks okay like that. I could maybe do this, but then I'm missing, like, I would need an extra black pixel there probably. So maybe just keep it like that. What I would also probably do is maybe blacken that part out more, although that might be too much. I think I do need to probably just do something like this though. This is probably a little bit too much. That probably looks better, right? So like even without making too many changes, that's already looking much better. As far as this goes, I'd probably want to emphasize the fact that his face is fuzzy somehow. So I'd probably want to do something like this, right? And then do that. I probably would want the ear. First of all, that comes down too far. So we'll make that like that. And then this would be darkened a little bit there. For the eye, I probably would do not a black pixel there. The nose is hard. The nose is hard. What I could do for the nose is just extend it like this, maybe. Yeah, I actually don't know. The nose is... I still have trouble drawing noses for such creatures, but maybe something like that is enough. And then I would also do some like anti-aliasing in some places. Like maybe there, create more of a separation there. And then maybe honestly, I could probably just thicken that whole thing up like that. Yeah. Well, that might be too dark, actually. Bring this back a little bit. Actually, it doesn't look too bad. This bone is just kind of laying there, but I think that dog looks better automatically, just immediately. I didn't even really change the shape that much. I just added a bunch of shading. I may just get rid of the bone. I think that was just... The problem is the dog doesn't really fill up the space that well now, but we can take a look at it in game and see what it looks like. Oh, or just save it. Yeah. Let's create an A-sprite file for this. So now if I go into the game and I add the dog, let's just take a look at what it looks like in game. Yeah, I think that looks fine. I mean, it doesn't fill up the space that well, but I think that looks way better. It was created by Dave Mark as basically a way to compartmentalize individual considerations for the game AI to consider in order to decide which action to take at any given point in time. Interesting. That does sound like goal-based planning a little bit based on what I understand of that, but I'm sure there's a significant difference. Now you have to update some of the oldest art to match. Yep, I do. But I don't know, what do you think? The dog looks much better now, right? Here's the old dog, and here's the new dog. And what did that take? That took like, what, 10 minutes? Not even 10 minutes? Didn't even change the shape that much, right? As a matter of fact, there's one other thing that I want to do here. It's a really minor detail, but if I put that dark pixel there, that will shadow it a little bit nicer. Right? I did change the position of the back leg, and I also added little leg here, which, depending on how you look at it, this could either be the other front leg, or this could be the back leg, right? In which case the other front leg would have to come out here somewhere, or maybe you wouldn't even be able to see it, but I think trying to add another leg into this would actually reduce the clarity a lot. So I'm not going to try to even show all the legs. I just need to give the impression that there's some kind of motion happening here. The other thing that I don't really like, actually, now that I'm looking at it, is that big block of red pixels. But maybe I'm just thinking about it too much. What the dog doing? Looks better for sure, yeah. I agree. That's been on my to-do list for a while, so. But yeah, you can see the clear difference. Like, look, I mean, I only use 2 colors for the dog, and the bone doesn't even look that much like a bone. But just by pulling in some more of those shadow colors, I think that created a much better result. Let the dog go, mystery's already complete. Yeah, we're done with the dog. I'm not going to have time on this stream, unfortunately, to implement the pumpling. The pumpling abilities, but also let me just commit this separately, and then so add pumpling, update dog art. All right, that's going to be it for the stream today. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for being here. Very much appreciated. If you're interested in supporting me and my work, if you're enjoying the streams, the best way to support me is to wishlist the game on Steam. The link for that is in the description below. That is the absolute best thing you could do to support me right now. The second best thing to do would be to subscribe to the Patreon. I've been uploading some exclusive video content there. That content is also available to YouTube members, so if you want to join as a YouTube member, you can do that. You can join the Discord. The Discord is totally free. You can share your game projects there, talk about game dev projects. I also post little mini Alchemortis updates in there, like if I do some new art or something. So yeah, that's it for the stream. Thank you all. Hope you enjoy your Sunday, and I will be back here tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern. All right, bye-bye.